Howdy people, welcome to another video on the channel. Today I'm presenting to you something slightly different. I'm going to be presenting to you a little video about how Forest survive in the Premier League. So yeah, sit back, relax and enjoy. And without further ado, let's go. So Forest, that team that I'm quite fond of if you can't tell, currently sit 19th in the Premier League at time of recording, scoring one goal away from home. You wouldn't believe it. It's not like the commentators say it every single time. Yeah, scoring one goal away from home and having 3 Premier League wins all season. Today I am going to list you on some ways how do we survive. So we're going to kick things off with the defence. The defence is very important when it comes to staying up in the Premier League. Based on previous seasons, you need to keep out less than 60 goals in order to survive, based on the last 5 seasons, so since 17/18. And after 15 games when I made this, so it's probably a few more now, but after 15 games, Forest have conceded 30 goals. I think it's 33 goals now, don't quote me on that, but when I made this, 30 goals. So clearly that is an area we need to consistently improve. For me, our best centre-half, Moussa Niakate, he's been out since game week 2, and he was very good. He also, crucially, he was quite fast. Now, the rest of our defence is pretty damn slow. As much they excel in other areas such as aerially tackling, they're not very fast, and you need at least one fast defender. Because if you get caught in the counter-attack, you need someone to ideally keep up. Because there's been a few goals this season where we've just been done in a foot race, like the Everton goal that we conceded. Demarai Gray just does our defence with his pace. So that is something that we desperately need to address in January. A fast defender. I mean, look, Bardet could have been fast, and it's a myth because his loan deal has been terminated now, which is just absolutely fantastic. But we need to address that by signing a fast centre half in January. So defensively, Steve Cooper, he's tried various different formations. He's tried the 3-back, which is what was so successful last season in the Championship in getting us promoted. The 5-back, which is very similar to the 3-back, it's just a little bit more. The wing backs are a little bit more defensive and deeper. And we've also mainly on at the 4-back at the minute, which is what's been slightly better for us this season. So Cooper's preferred defensive partnership when we play with a 4-back for quite a while was Cook and McKenna, which did not work. I mean, they were great in the Championship, but Steve Cook especially, as much as I love the man, I think he's a great guy, and he's a decent fella to have in the dressing room. He just wasn't performing on the pitch. So we need to change things up. Joe Worrell, Willy Bolly did have a spell of being alright, but against Man United, Bolly was pretty poor. Worrell has definitely improved. At times at the start of the season he was quite rash, but he's improved quite a bit. But I just think when we play with a 3-back, Niakate, Worrell and McKenna work perfectly, but at the same time the 3-back did not work in the slightest. I mean, I would definitely not be opposed to bringing back a Worrell McKenna for partnership, which I don't think that any Forest fan have any complaints about that. I think in our next upcoming game against Chelsea, I don't see why we shouldn't give that another go, Worrell and McKenna. We've also in our defence experimented with several wing-back options. So our wing-backs, Lodi, Toffolo, and Omar Richards being our 3 left backs, but Richards with his injury that he's had since pre-season, we're yet to see him play. It's been Lodi and Toffolo. I think Lodi recently has much improved, but Toffolo hasn't put a foot wrong. But at the same time, he's also been linked with a move to Olympiacos. Shock, a Forest player potentially going to Olympiacos. And at right back, we have Serge Aurier and Nico Williams. Nico Williams has had spells at left back as well. He's someone who can play both left back and right back. Aurier's really cemented himself in that right back position, where the left back's been chopped and changed with Williams, Toffolo and Lodi. Lodi being probably the best at attacking. For me, he would be better suited as a winger. With Toffolo and Williams being the better defenders. But yeah, Aurier's definitely cemented himself as our number 1 right back choice. Moving into attack, we've got a lot of options here. And scoring goals is a fundamental in survival. Well, it's a fundamental in football, really. If you didn't know that, yeah, you don't know football. But it's a fundamental. You cannot achieve anything if you do not put the ball in the back of the net. That is the point in the sport, is putting the ball in the back of the opposition's net. So, Forest have splashed a lot of money in the attack. £17.5 million for Taiwo Awoniyi, 12.5 million up front for Dennis, which would rise to 20 million with add-ons. Morgan Gibbs-White for 25 million up front, which again could rise to 40 million, as the press like to talk about quite a lot. And Jesse Lingard's on about 100 odd K a week. Also, the press like to talk about the wrong numbers quite a lot. And this is another point I will touch on when we get talking about home and away form. But a lot of our players have thrived in the home form, especially the attackers, because as I pointed out, we've scored 1 goal away from home all season. But Taiwo Awoniyi scored all of his goals at the City Ground, and him especially has been a very key asset in games at the City Ground. He's someone who I think would thrive more with a 2 up front, because he's very Graben-esque. He's a mould of Davis and Graben. He's got the physicality of Davis, but he's got the poacher instincts of Graben, but he's also got the elements of Graben that he needs about 3 chances to score 1 goal. Because there's been time this season where he's missed quite a few sitters. I think it was his 3rd shot against West Ham, and it wasn't even much of a shot, which when he scored. At Bournemouth he had 2 or 3 shots, didn't score. So, you know, see what I'm getting at. But also, Emmanuel Dennis he's looked promising as a winger. We have tried him as a centre forward, but it's just not worked. But the problem with Dennis is he's a bit of a bull hog. Against Man United a couple of days ago, there was this one chance, he's on the wing, he's doing all these Ronaldo-esque step overs, while Ryan Yates is completely unmarked in the middle and he just doesn't cross it. He crosses it too late when United have got about 3 players back, and it's easily defended. Whereas if he crosses it like 3 seconds earlier, Yates has got to tap him. So that's the only frustrating thing about Dennis. I think he tries too hard to impress and he just ends up becoming a bull hog. Gibbs-White has looked very, very good, but he has recently picked up an injury. He's probably been our best player so far this season. I think he's got 2 goals, 2 assists, something like that. But okay, he's one of the few Forest players that can actually take a corner as well, which is something that we have struggled with. Lingard has definitely massively improved in the last few games. Carabao Cup especially, he's been getting on score sheets. Scored against Blackburn, scored against Spurs. Was decent against Liverpool. Had a good opportunity which he should have scored. Had another couple of chances against Crystal Palace. So recently Lingard has impressed a lot more. He also has been linked with a move away. I'm not too sure if that will still apply, as he has improved recently. We also have signed Scarpa. He's not legible to the 1st of January. I'm not sure if he's going to play against Chelsea, if he can or not, but he has impressed in the mid-season friendlies that we had, and he could add that Brazilian sauce, as you like to say, in attack, and someone who definitely could be crucial in us staying up. Now, home form is probably more crucial than away form when it comes to survival in the Premier League, and it's especially important when you are a home side. And the City Ground, I think we've been very good at. Bar 2 games, I think we have been impeccable. We've been near perfect at the City Ground. Other than Bournemouth and Fulham, and you can make the argument for Tottenham because we played well against Tottenham, we just didn't win. But Fulham, Bournemouth especially, that was probably the worst game at the City Ground in a very, very long time. Fulham were a decent side, but we just had 7 minutes of just pure crap, where we just decided to not play football. Players seem to embrace the atmosphere, as I mentioned earlier. Taiwo Awoniyi's been brilliant at the City Ground. The players seem to embrace it a lot more, especially like your Yateses, your Worrells. They seem to embrace the home form, and it's been crucial in us getting points. And without our home form, we would be nowhere near survival. And with how some of the new players and some of the foreign players have come in and embraced the City Ground atmosphere so well, is just a testament to how great our home atmosphere and the City Ground is, and it's going to be instrumental in us staying up. If we do stay up, then it will be down to our home form. It will be nothing to do with our away form, because our away form is atrocious. Now, it's no secret that our away form has been atrocious. We've scored 1 goal, technically 2 if you count the offside goal, but it didn't count, so it's not really. We've scored 1 goal away from home, and that was a tap-in against Everton. So yeah, it's not been great. I mean, the commentators don't shut up about it, but we've got 2 points on the road all season, a point against Brighton, a point against Everton. That's not good, especially when we've got a massive game against Southampton away on the horizon. That is not great away form to be going into a massive game. But yeah, but hopefully, you know, we can change it around, a touch wood, but I'm not filled with confidence after our away form so far. For me, home form is more important than away form for a newly promoted side to stay up, but you still need some form of away form, some form of string of results in order for us to survive. But the away form's not been good enough, and it's something that we definitely need to improve. I don't know how. It's one of those things I just do not know how we improve, but it's something that needs to improve, and it needs to improve within the next week, because as I said, we have Southampton coming up, and I'd say it's probably one of the main areas, along with our defence, that Steve Cooper needs to look to improve. Now, how do we improve these areas? For me, defence is rather simple. Sign a fast centre half. That is all I ask. Sign a fast centre half. Put McKenna, put Worrell, put Bolly next to them, and I think we'll be all right with a fast centre half. And then I think we could probably, if and when Niakate, if he ever comes back, then that imaginary fast centre half, Niakate, and then Worrell, McKenna, whoever, that could make the back three work more. But we just need a fast centre half. That is how easy it is. I mean, the January window's coming up, so I'd like to think we'll get it done within the first week. Now, attack, it could be improved a little bit, maybe by implementing a different system. But if you play this really expansive attacking system against a Chelsea, a Man City, you're gonna get smashed. They're just gonna expose you. So you need to have you need to have this cautious system. We need to be a bit more clinical in front of goal. Because if we're only getting 3-4 chances in the game, we need to bury that, one of those chances. Because we're getting very few chances on the road. For example, let's look at Man United. We had the offside goal, which I'm still a bit 50-50 on. We had that moment where De Gea made the double save. And then if Dennis crossed the ball, we would have had that chance for Ryan. So really we had one chance, really, and that was the double save. If we bury that, I think it was at 1-0 or 2-0, that changes the dynamic of the game slightly. And then that means the momentum swings with us, and it will take the wind out of United's sails a bit. So that's where our attack has to improve, and we need to score more goals at home. Because at home we have, the most goals we've scored is 2, and that was in the Cup. Most of the league was 1, and that's how we got all of our wins, have been 1-0 home wins. So that's something that needs to improve. Attack isn't the main thing. Attacking home form is not something I think we need to drastically worry about. We've made the addition of Scarpa into the attack. I think some people are saying for a new number 9. I think a Wonyi, I wouldn't be against a new number 9 coming in. Someone who's very, very clinical. But I've not got a problem with a Wonyi. It's just he needs 3 or 4 chances to score. Which, when you're in our position, you can't really afford to have that. When you're like a stable, mid-table, top half side, you can afford to have that. But I want some people to put in him as a flop. I don't think a Wonyi is a flop. I just think he needs a little bit more time. I say he's not done much wrong. I think he would work better in a 2 up front, but we can't really work with that at the minute because when we've tried a 2 up front, it's not really worked. And away form, I don't really know how we improve. I think it's a case of just getting that one away win over the line, and then I think our away form will improve slightly. That's what I think anyway. And I think as soon as we get that first away win, if and when, hopefully it's very soon, touch wood, but I think it's just a case of that domino effect, getting that one away win, and fingers crossed, hopefully that adds better away performances. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video. If you want more stuff like this, let me know in the comment section down below. That is how I think Forest survive in the Premier League and what areas we need to improve. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Up the Forest.